funny. We've always talked about he wants me to do all the interviews anyway because he hates doing it. But I might be able to
you know
get
what?
enough
When you've been on
beer or something.
Gam. No, but that's it too. We've all got different roles to play in everything that we do, right? You are the
True.
lead singer for
Yeah.
Powerhouse.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know
I
the
say 90%
hierarchy.
of the stuff.
Yeah, right. So, and I mean, we look at Carmine, cousin Carmine, because he's Ralph's cousin. I don't know the whole hierarchy and lineage. And, you know, every member of the band is so pivotal and so important. Do you guys have like pre-meets as to what you're going to do, or are you so seasoned that it just goes?
We know our roles in the band for sure. But we get along so well because we are all seasoned, and there's no, we really truly are good friends, and that's why the band's been together for now. What are we talking? 9 years now, I think. And yeah, um, we
Wow.
know where everybody lives, and we respect that role, and I think that's what makes the band really, really, really good. Is that none of us, the egos don't get so big that it has to be our stage. It's the band, it's not an individual effort. So when we're working out harmonies, everybody has their spot. Somebody can't do one or has difficulties with it, we'll easily switch it, and we'll make those spots work. And Cam and Drew work out the guitar part, so he wants to do one solo, the other person backs off. It's not the egos are in check, and that's what I think makes this band, aside from the talent, because I play with some really talented guys, man. I mean, it's not fair some days. And I'm wrecked. I can't play with anybody else now. They have to be a certain level now.
Because Powerhouse has been together for 9 years. Cam was back in the hair band days of White
Wolf.
White Wolf. Okay, White Wolf.
Yep.
I knew it wasn't Snake. So there's a lot of, oh God, there's just so much experience.
Yeah, Carmine's has been a part or produced or been on 4 or 5 albums. I have 4 or 5 albums myself. I've released to commercial radio as well. 3 or 4 of my songs that did okay. Bob's been a part of some recording artists as well. So we've all been up and down the road. Cam's toured the most. Carmine's toured states. I've done all of Canada and the northern states. I mean, we're over 3,000, 4,000 shows each, which is, when you think about it, doesn't seem like a big number, but when there's only 52 weeks in a year and there's only 100 days, 100 Fridays and Saturdays, you think about that. Even last year I did 130 shows myself personally, and the band did 50. And I want to be at 250. That's where we want to be. So
nice.
I think we take it for granted that we've been doing that much.
Huge. When you took the leap to the solo realm,
mm-hmm.
And I mean, that meant leaving the safe job. And I mean, that's
walked right out. Yep.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
Brave.
Yeah, it was scary. I did, when I came to Edmonton, I was doing that already. And then I fell on this lady and my daughter appeared, and that changed that aspect. So I didn't stop doing music because that's who I am. But I definitely took a step back, and now she's 11 and I can go and do this stuff. So I decided to hop back in there. It helps. It was scary. I went from a corporate management job and walked out literally 2 days after Christmas and said I was done. No idea how I was going to do this. I had incredible people on my side to help me manage and make this happen. But it still took 3 or 4 months to be able to get back into a groove where I was able to make sure I could pay my bills, the child support, all that kind of stuff, making sure everything's paid. And
priorities.
The bills keep coming. I mean, they don't stop, just to get to play dead and hope they go away.
No.
And I'm happy to say I didn't miss anything. There's still struggle months as an entrepreneur, that sometimes you have those tough months, and you have to budget and you have to do those kind of things. But it's been a pretty good ride. It's a really good ride.
Well, and that's
I'm gonna,
it too, the ebb and flow, right? I mean, we're in Alberta. There's a lot.
yes, we
There's that's a big one, right? There's a lot of financial change, and there's a lot of financial opportunity depending upon how you manage your resources. And I think that's why I chose to talk about play, because when you're playing and you're having fun, you see things differently. I mean, one of the things that I love to do is vision boards. I got magazines, I got glue, I got paper. Doesn't cost me anything. Meditation is free. There are so many things that we can do that's playful and fun, and enter that childlike frequency. Because if you're playing like a child, then you're having fun. When you start to take it too serious, what do you do to keep the fun
yeah, absolutely.
in
Listen, I'm just
what it
posting.
is that you do? Trying to share? Yeah.
I'm getting
Ralph said we're not
I'm
live. It
making
says
sure I got
live
the
on
shit
mine.
on. Yeah.
Mine says live.
So I think I got it. Let me see, just double check here, make sure it's going. Does
Technology,
say live.
it's fun. It's
Oh,
fun.
that one's
It's
good. All
fun.
right. And my other page.
There we go. Look at that. I was going to put it on Edmonton People of Rock, but I can always get that one.
I think we're good there.
Oh, Ralph's like, it's working.
Okay. Yeah. All right. You have my
Tech
attention.
tech support verifies. We're good. We're good. Well, what do you do to keep it fun? What do you do to keep it?
Hey, Ralph, can you put up a green screen of my house?
What?
Tax. I got some tax, Ralph. Can you put up a sheet for me?
So much fun to razz the guys, right? It's fun. And I bet you that's a lot of what keeps it fun with you, with the guys in Powerhouse. You guys are
It's
razzing each other.
yeah.
Who
It's
plays the
we've thought about
tambourine?
doing a live stream, but it would pretty much offend everybody. So we've decided
Probably.
that I don't know if we're ready for the comments yet, but it's hilarious.
Tambourine? Does anyone play the tambourine?
No.
More cowbell?
We make Carmine do all that, all the girl stuff. We make him do that.
Well, you know what? You guys have got something working, because when I came and saw you last weekend, it was great. And I mean, there was a lady that came up to the table and spoke to you about your ability to sing journey. It's a talent, man. It's a talent.
Yeah. I look like I ate Steve Perry, but I can sound like him.
Well, you know what? We've all got our own special sound, and we mimic for a while the people who we admire. When anybody looks at who it is that they admire, that's their standards of integrity, right? Whether it is J-Lo or Johnny Depp or whatever, there's something that you see in that person. And when you realize that it's because it's in you, that's where the power comes from. Because we don't get any power by merely mimicking. That's karaoke, which I don't do well. Ralph does a really good oh my God, Sweet Caroline.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's funny you say that, because Cam and I were talking about it the other day, and we've been doing this long enough that we don't try to sound like anybody else. We'll do inflections or whatever to just kind of tie in to what the song is. So when we're doing our cover stuff, but I mean, when I'm singing that, that's me, that's who I am, and that's who Cam is, and that's who Bob is, and we just do our versions of us singing those songs, we don't try to sound like anybody. Um, but you're right. That's exactly what it is. You start out by doing that. You start out by thinking, this is my favorite band, or this is my favorite musician. I want to be just like him. And you soon find out that you're not them, and who you really are could be completely different from what those things are you are that like, but that's not wrong. That's great. And I find that's where you truly learn who you are when you start writing your own music. You start figuring that is who you truly are, and not who you're pretending to be or to who you're trying to fill. Not taking anything away from covers. Covering musicians are fantastic, but there's a definite different path that you take when you start writing your own music, and you find a deeper level of yourself. And like the thing we're talking about, you face yourself in the mirror sometimes, and there's some hard truths, and you can decide whether you want to really look into those and learn to be comfortable with that, or to just bypass it and continue on.
Yeah. Right. And that's it too. If we're constantly pointing the mirror out at the world, and it's like, you're the problem and you're the problem and you're the problem, there's that whole, the fingers are pointing back at you. And personal growth is not easy. It's called the hero's journey for a reason. I'm reading the heroine's journey right now, which is totally flipping me on my, like, wow, that's why I was trying so hard to make it in the corporate world. I mean, I was in construction for 20 years, running a company that dealt with concrete and excavation. And I was always trying to, fight my way into that. And it was like, oh, I was doing that for a myriad of different reasons.
What
I'd
was the main
forgotten
reason why you were trying to do that? If
acceptance,
mind me asking.
self-acceptance, acceptance. I wanted my ex-husband to be able to see me on an equal playing field. And I mean, I did the
Mhm.
hiring at Gainers for 2 years. I was good at what I did, but I would never be able to meet him at his level, because even though I saw him up here, he was really resonating down here. So in recovering from the battered woman syndrome, recovering from the death of a child, recovering from all of those things, it's like, wow, that's where I was able to truly find myself and begin to shine. And once I started to shine, then I began to attract into my life that which I was.
Yeah. I think I did the same thing, and when I looked at it for many different reasons, but moving to the height of the corporate ladder was to impress, or to be looked at as an equal in a bunch of people's different eyes. But I wasn't happy, and that's what made me walk out. I'm doing 10 hours a day. I'm coming home. I'm 8 hours attached to a phone. And then while you're sleeping, the phone's still on because you're still responsible for other managers and other things. The corporate life became this thing that they own you. You're trying to run up this
Oh,
ladder, and you're making more money, but you lose
yes.
less and less of yourself. And I don't know if you know much of the story, but I went down and I was working south of Calgary for a long period of time, and still playing Powerhouse. So I would work my 10-hour day. I'd leave on Tuesdays at 2 o'clock, drive from South Calgary up to Edmonton, practice with the band. We go to midnight, turn around, drive right back down, and then I'd get a couple hours sleep and go back into work for 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning, and do that. Then come back up on Fridays, do the shows Fridays and Saturdays. But I would go back down every single day, and I like a brick or a 2x4 to the back of the head. I finally realized, what's the most important thing? I'm really sacrificing my job because the music's more important to me, and I
Yeah.
don't suck at it. So why don't you put your money where your mouth is? You can do this again. You did it once. Let's see if you can do it again, smart ass, Um, and
Yeah,
that's
putting skin in the game. You got to put skin in the game. Got to put
yeah.
lots of skin in the game. Yeah, I've done
And
that so many times. I mean, I've filed for not corporate, debt consolidation. I sold my house before and I lost huge coin because I realized that I couldn't afford to live in the house that I had, because the divorce money didn't come through. and I could have sat there and played victim and slayed somebody on Facebook, but what was that going to get me, right? That wasn't going to solve my
Probably
problem.
about 10,000 likes and about $1,000 a month. And
Yeah,
you'd
right.
have no honesty to yourself and be completely
No, and
soulless.
I'd be miserable. I'd be miserable.
Mhm.
So for me, family first, man, I got the tattoo that says family first with mom in the middle. And quitters never win, winners never quit. Faith over fear. And my faith is huge. It's huge. And when I say my faith, I light candles. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference, man. While being all the things that I am, I mean, I've got a tea and tarot course coming up. I've got some breakthrough coaching courses that are coming up. And I had to do it, like you said, with oomph. Because if you try with oomph, you triumph. There's another good band.
You're old.
I am old. Yeah, but if you saw my playlist, you would kill yourself because I've got so much rap on my playlist. I'm a huge Tom McDonald fan. Huge, huge Tom McDonald fan. I love music that the lyrics make me think. And his lyrics really make me think, and they bring me up a lot. Like there's one of his songs that's called Names, Call Me Names. And I'm like, yeah. And then I reflect on when I'm that person and I'm calling someone else a name, am I really talking about them or am I talking about a reflection of me? It's always turning that mirror on, man. Always.
It's amazing how much you even check when you check in with your verbiage, and then you think you've got it, and then all of a sudden you start rechecking back in again, and you're still saying these words that subconsciously affect your train of thought. And I'm continually checking myself. Somebody called me on it the other day, and I went, "Oh shit, I am saying that. Fuck. All right, okay. Where's that coming from? How do I?" You don't just change it. It's one thing to throw around hashtags and words and cue words and do all this thing, because that's a lot of what I see.
Mhm.
And I don't want to be that guy. I really want to be the guy that's checking in and going, okay, where'd this come from? How can I be a better version of myself here to try and make sure that I'm doing this? And it starts with, I guess, with my daughter trying to install that stuff. I wouldn't know what it'd be like to be a teenager girl growing up in the world today. I know what I went through as a band guy so many years, and I wouldn't even know where to start. So I think that was my testament, or it was my karma releases. Here you go. You have a daughter now.
Yeah. I've
Smart
got
ass.
3 granddaughters. 3 granddaughters. So for me, when I do hashtag legend, it's because I'm creating a legacy. My granddaughters watch my lives. They know that Nona says certain words that they're not allowed to say. And we just kind of roll from there. And it's about understanding the word that you speak. Like my kids were not allowed to say the F word, and it was forget. They had to say remember. That was very, very important. But if they wanted to drop the F bomb, they could drop the F bomb. But they had to do it in a sentence that made sense. They had to justify the words that they spoke. So words are so powerful. So powerful. I love them. I love them. And I love the way that they'll light people up. If I say sunshine, most people smile. But there's other words that I'll say that'll strike a chord. So, oh yeah, like I've got these cards. I use them on my live all the time. I don't know if you can even read that one, so I'll just read it out loud. I love being a wild fucking goddess. But sometimes if you say the word fuck, I mean, you can say that one if you want. I say it. Come on, say it. No, I'm joking. I love being a wild fucking goddess. But when you say that to a man, what does that mean? That's the feminine reflection inside of you. That's that soft spot of Doug that makes you so likable. Nobody likes an asshole.
No. Well, I mean, if you're still chasing Chads and Tyrones and want to play the victim card, sure, yeah, absolutely, it works for you. they keep chasing them, they'll keep being there.
That's right. Yeah. Well, yeah, you will become a reflection of that which you speak, action, word, deed, thought, word, and deed. I mean, it's biblical. That's how far back those words go. And the thought always comes first. The
It's
thought
true.
always comes first. It's so wild, right? And then there's all that subconscious conditioning. I had hypnotherapy done on Friday, which really helped me because I was really struggling with a lot. And to be able to reframe that, wow, cool, super cool, super cool. I'm always trying something new because I'm healing at a really profound, deep level, super deep.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
I know I was at this event today, and there's a gentleman there, and he was talking about the job, and he's obviously very proud of what he does. He's very proud. And somebody was asking, and he wanted to make sure that everybody knew that he was there, and obviously some self-confidence issues, and obviously some issues when it goes on to there that he hasn't maybe dealt with. But he verbed it out that I have to go and do this. You know, he loves doing this. He doesn't have to, he wants to. And that was something that rang with me while I was thinking about coming on here today was, why do we say we have to? I mean, I don't have to go and sing on stage today. I get to. This is awesome. I get it. I get to be right in the center of attention is not what it's about, but I get to sound amazing with these 5 guys that I have on stage that are just fucking incredible. And I watch people don't even clap because their jaws are dropped for the first 30 seconds and they realize they have to clap. And it's an amazing thing. And I wanted to check in with that and make sure that, and those are some of the words that I'm saying sometimes. I'm sure I say it, and I'm trying to change that verbiage. And I just kind of went, wow, there's a guy that loves what he does, and he still feels he has to justify to somebody else that he has to do this in this victim negative mode that we kind of, it's become societal. And
Oh, it has been. It has been. It's so powerful. And when you look at the verbiage, like you were saying, people will say, I should do this and I should do that. And should is shame. And I stopped shoulding myself a long time ago. You tell
say
me
that
I
5
should,
times fast.
right? You tell me I should do something and I'm like, whoa, back the truck up. Because what you're trying to do is instill guilt in me.
Or we're doing it to ourselves.
Oh, self-guilt, huge, huge. And then we become apathetic. Meh. Yeah, right. It's terrible.
There was there's a personal development course that I took not too long ago, and I don't have the specifics, but I'll try and do the general purpose of it all. We continue to do the same circle. We keep going around the same circle in our thoughts and our minds and our actions, and we continue. And until we break that cycle, we will continue in that cycle. So it's kind of like pushing your boundaries, kind of doing those kind of things. But once you throw a rock or into the middle of that cycle and you change the train tracks and you go off to a different one, only then will you start to rethink everything and start to take yourself out. But if you're comfortable, like we were talking about before we went live, if you're comfortable doing that, you don't want to get out of it. But you'll continue
to crisis. The comfort
crisis.
crisis.
You'll continue in that same cycle until you push yourself out of it.
Well, and I mean, we live in these homes that are 27 degrees, 26, 25, 24, whatever temperature you choose, right? We got the lights that turn on. We got a fridge full of food. We don't have to go out and hunt. We don't have to gather. There is no real threat. You tell me what the real threat is in life, except for the perceived threat that you get from many forms of media. There is no threat. We have enough in our world. If I were to have my home burnt down, I've got friends who would allow me to stay with them. I've got insurance to cover it. We've got a pretty good societal structure of community, but we're damn comfortable. And I think that's one of the greatest problems that we have is that we're comfortable and we'd rather spend, $6, $7 on a Starbucks than a self-development course.
Fascinating you said that, and I wasn't planning to tie this back to myself because that sounds so
You're
so
here. We're talking about
but,
self.
I guess so, yeah, my name is on underneath my name there. I sold my house, I put everything into storage, and I had it in storage waiting to buy a new house. Now, I took most of the money and I had to go back to court and do that kind of stuff from, make sure I had fend for my daughter and do that kind of stuff, which and it worked out great and it's fine. But I didn't put insurance on my storage stuff because it was in a concrete metal on a second floor in a U-Haul spot. No problems for a year and a half. Just last year, somebody got mad and it set arson inside of it. I lost everything. So I lost everything in my house. I had a two bedroom, sorry, 3-bedroom house. Everything was in there. Everything from my daughter's pictures from when she was growing up to old posters when I started playing music a billion years ago. All those things, old recordings, old pictures of my father who passed away many years ago. And this is I'm not saying this to do the victim thing. It's just to say that I was okay. I kind of went, it's just shit. Everything that's important is in here. Yes, I don't get to come on to your show and show you a picture of, hey, this is this or this is this, but I'll make new memories. I'll get more shit. I'll have more shit. It's who really cares? So that's fascinating that you said that because I just experienced that. And it was so many people told me, well, how can you go on with your life? I don't know. I guess I really don't. I'm not attached to it. I can get another couch. I can't get another picture of her, or maybe I will. Maybe somebody does and I'll see it, but she's here, she's healthy, and I see her every single weekend and every single holiday. And the here and the now was what was the most important thing. And it wasn't a big transition for me. I wonder if I could have done that 10 years ago. I don't know. Maybe. But I think it's different now.
We don't know how we'll be if we go backwards, and we can't. The butterfly effect is it. I don't know if you saw that movie, The Butterfly Effect.
I sure did, yeah.
Wow, right? You change one thing and everything fucking tumbles. It's like, holy shit. Don't. But you can revisit the you that was before and ask that person questions. All you have to do is get quiet with yourself, which isn't that easy, actually. I say it like it's just like
it's not easy at all.
I know
it's really fucking hard. Yes.
Pick up the mic and start singing a little bit of Journey. No, it's not that easy. It takes lots and lots of practice. But anything worth doing is worth practicing. You just got to play. The show
First
must
one
go
through
on.
the door is always bloody. You know, they're all great things, and we hear them on a regular basis. But
you sing that song. The show must go on.
The show must go on. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's what Spirit was singing in my head, right? I get lyrics from Spirit, so I'm like, the show must go on. Who sings? I'm like, oh yeah, Doug sings that, right? But that's the power of lyrics, and that's why I'm so happy that you're writing lyrics. I'm just like, wow. So I have lyrics after Money. Do you know what song there is that sings about Nancy?
I don't know. We can find out.
No, there is. There's a song, Deep Purple. Deep Purple.
Oh.
Sweet Nancy was a dancer.
Okay. I know what song you mean. All right. Yeah. I didn't think about that.
That's the only one that I can think of. But
I sing about so many girls on a regular basis now, so I forget them all.
Well, and you know what? We were talking earlier about the power of words. And one thing that I love are agreements. So there's the 5 agreements, and one of them is be impeccable with your word. Big one.
Clarity seems like such an easy word, and yet it's so hard for us to simplify and make things very clear to each other. We feel this need to tiptoe and manage other people's feelings sometimes with the words we say, and or not manage on the opposite side.
Yeah.
And yeah, the clarity and sincerity coming from a very neutral place, for the most part, won't be that offensive to people if you're clear and you're basic on it.
Well, and that's where it gets easier with practice. This one's a kicker.
I love this. Somebody told me once, if I was to tell you to fuck off and these horrible, degrading things, but I did it in a different language, you wouldn't care.
So true.
You would just sit
Oh
there
my
and go,
God.
what? Okay. Well, she's either passionate or she's really pissed, but I don't know what she's talking about.
That's so
But now we do it in a
true.
language you understand. It now all of a sudden becomes emotion. And we're responsible for our emotions, not the person talking to us.
You can't make me feel guilty. That's on me, not on you.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Powerful stuff, right? I love acronyms. I love acronyms. And one of the ones that I like to use is this one. And I used that one because that word was used very, very nasty against me, right? So CUNT, right? No, I can't
See you
understand
next Tuesday. Yeah.
right? But that helps me. Like when I talk about exponential joy, my inner dialogue has to battle a lot of things at times. Like I was telling you before, I'm working on my memoir, man. There's some really touchy subjects in there that, like, you don't dare talk about that stuff. And I'm like, well, I have to. And do it in a way that offers hope. Ugh, okay. How do I do that? You get a good coach. I've got a great coach, Christopher Rausch, my accountability coach. I got a great editor. I got a great publisher. We got to surround ourselves with powerful people. I like how we called you Dougie. That's like that. What is that dance? Isn't that a Dougie?
Oh, fuck. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. Hey, Vinny. Shouldn't you be working?
Right? Oh my God, Ralph and I were back a few months ago watching Welcome Back, Cotter, and Vinny. Love
Wow, you're
that old
fucking
television.
old.
I know, I really am, right? Like it's but that's good television. I mean, I love character, and that's why I watch movies and television. I'm not the kind of person that I no longer smoke out to marijuana on the couch. I did that for decades. I do not do that anymore. I'll have the occasional glass of wine. No more cocaine or crack for Nance. That's the past life. And I really enjoy movies and characters. When you can figure out what character you are or what character you want to be, man, life can be fun. Who did you admire for music? Who are your
Um, I really feel like I learned how to sing from Nancy Wilson from Heart, uh, just because I can sing. I have that higher range voice, and when I grew up, I was really weaned on country and western. It was
okay.
holy shit! It was a lot of country and western. So once I kind of went into that rock aspect, I went down that road and I continued going down that road. So it became the um, Hart, it became Sammy Hagar, it became um, Chris Cornell, it became those things. All the guys, older but wiser. Yeah, but you still forgot the sheep, man. Every time you grow one of these white hairs, you forget something.
Yeah, right. Yeah. It's
Uh,
fun to joke around.
and
Sammy Hagar, okay, okay.
and then I discovered Journey much later and realized that that is who I didn't ever have to emulate. That's just who I was. That was my voice. I had a softer voice. It wasn't that Chris Cornell voice. I could hit the notes. I could do all those things, but that's who I really was. And then all these years of singing, I've kind of built up that rasp a little more. But that's that's really what I was. I had that big vibrato. I had huge power, and I could control it. And that's journey's been easy for me. But don't get me singing anything low, because that's my Achilles heel. Can't sing low. No deep, sexy voice for me. I'm up to the high end.
So what would low be? Like, who would that be?
What a hard time singing. Anything once we go into
I guess
Johnny
Tracy
Cash.
Chapman. Oh, Johnny
Tracy
Cash. Okay.
Chapman's on the low line too. Yeah, she's super. I'd have
Okay.
to shift that up. I'd probably have to capo that up a couple. Sweet Caroline, when I do it acoustically, I got to shift it up 2 caples because that low note I can't hit. But
Wow.
we do Kelly Clarkson, and it's whatever, no big deal. You open up your eyes, and yeah, that's more where my octave is. If we're looking at a musical aspect, it'd be F to F1 to F6 is where I would be in that aspect. But so the guys think in the band, that's just great. We have the other guys that can sing low. They do
And that's the beauty of the band, right? That's the beauty of the band. And that's what I believe, that this next phase in life is going to be a lot more collaboration and less competition, because those who feel the need to compete, well, they can separate, I guess, right? Competition leads to separation.
Sure.
So
yeah, there's times we'll look at a song, we can do the harmonies, that's not a problem. But I'm like, Bob, you sing the song. Yeah, I used to do it. You do it. Fuck, I'll grab a harmony. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Cam sounds better doing that song than I do. You do that song. I mean, I'll grab a harmony. Fuck, I'll just.
Well, that's why he wears the hat, right? He's got his own magical way of being.
Yeah.
It's what makes him. I've never seen him sing without his hat.
No, he's always got something for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Like it's just that part of, and that's probably a lot of the sacred ritual, because when we enter any experience in life, we need to bring with us those things that make us comfortable. We've got to have that blanket, or that something that brings safety in. Like we were talking about our crystals earlier, how we both do that.
It's a persona. It's a different personality, not in a dual personality or Heckle and Jekyll kind of thing. But when you're on stage, you have this thing that's who you are, and that's the version of yourself. And then when you're off stage, you're another version of yourself. We're so deep and multi-layered as human beings, but that's the way I would resonate with it when I have my hat on. That's kind of, and I can't speak for Cam for sure, but for me, I wore a cowboy hat for a long time. That was my stage persona. That's who I was at that moment when I was on stage. And when I was off stage, I didn't wear that. It was just a different hat, proverbial hat you put on.
Yeah, the extension of self.
Correct. Yeah, that's a better way of saying it.
Well, and I think it's interesting, because how often in life do we make assumptions about other people?
Every day.
Yeah. Yeah, like try taking note of that. How many times you make assumptions, because somebody will have a certain tone that they take that may not resonate with you. Or, you see somebody driving and they're angry and they're yelling and they're screaming. You don't know who they're talking to on the phone. You don't know what they've been through that day. So if we can offer some kindness and compassion, or just stay in our own lane.
Oh, that's hard. It seems to be so difficult. Yeah.
Right? It is. And I think the last 5 years brought us to some tipping points in life. I mean, I was talking with a lady yesterday, and we were talking about when there were still the arrows in the grocery line telling us which direction to go.
Herding us like sheep?
Yeah, right? Like that. Pardon me?
They're still in IKEA.
Are they really? What?
Yeah, you have those lines to go where you got to go through IKEA, and see, I'm that asshole that goes in the back door, so I can go where exactly I go, and I don't follow attention to them because I just don't like conformity sometimes. But
Well, there is social conditioning. There's a lot of social conditioning. It's how we buy into a belief. If your parents or your teachers or somebody who's wise tells you something that the chicken crossed the road first, and you believe that, you'll argue that the chicken crossed the road first. But wasn't like, didn't the chicken come out of an egg? If you can just open your mind and listen.
that's a great point. That's our core belief system that we have, that we've inherited, we've learned, we've done those kind of things. And I'm trying to remember the exercise that I did that really was mind blowing. I can't remember what the exact thing was, but you can change your core belief system. So you could believe that, and I want to use an example that makes a lot of sense, but um,
A woman's house, a woman's place is in the home.
sure, yeah, let's use that. If we've been told that our entire lives, we might believe that. But is there another option? And the thing, well, that's the way it's always been done. That's an excuse to be lazy.
Mhm.
I know it sounds really
Back in
harsh,
the day. Back in the
right?
day. Back in the
It's the way
day.
we're going to do
Oh,
it because it's the way it's always been done. Well, no, if we don't evolve as human beings, we're not going to protect. Maybe there's a better way. Maybe that is the best way, but how are we going to really know unless we look at it from a different perspective or come at it from a different door?
yeah. Try. Try
Right?
something new.
Be wrong.
Try
It's okay.
something new. Being wrong is wonderful because it helps you understand yourself more. I love having ulterior concepts brought into my life. I'm much better at allowing that. I've learned the importance of being skeptical and learning to listen.
It's fascinating. I was just thinking about if we could listen more and talk less,
Oh, right.
we would probably learn so much more.
Mhm. One of the things that I'm taking the second level of the end of life doula certification through the University of Vermont, and one of the things that I practice is why am I talking? Wait,
Fascinating.
yeah, it's a big one, right? Like when we think about death, um, boy, people will just like book it. I've actually told people that I'm becoming an end of life doula, and they leave. Like, I've had them, like, leave the room, like, they're gone, and I'm just like,
I'm going to use
it's
that when I'm off stage and I don't want to talk
unbelievable.
to someone anymore. I'll use that one. I like that.
Right?
Instead of
Death
saying
is
this
such an
conversation's too
uncomfortable
done or
topic.
I gotta go.
Death is an uncomfortable topic, and so is life. We don't talk about so many things that would allow us to, overcome, man, overcome. Oh gosh, that's an
Oh,
interesting song.
what? Death isn't the end. It's just another door.
Mhm. Yeah. It's a transition, and when you were talking about losing the things that were physical, that was a death, that was a grief. We lose a
Mhm.
job, that's grief. We lose a relationship. Man, when you go through the loss of a relationship, you lose that whole family. Sunday
Sure.
dinners are gone, all that. And there's an
You invite them
opportunity.
home for Sunday dinner? Fuck, you're nice.
Not anymore. No,
Okay.
no. I only see them in the courtrooms, and that's okay because I'm still kind. I'm still kind. I sit there. It's funny because the most important thing for me on days like that is like, what are you gonna wear? So I'll wear like my badass pants. I've got these tights that say badass. No one knows that they say badass because I've got my mucklucks on top of them. But it's just like you were saying. when you go onto stage, you put on the armor so that you can go to war, but you can be a peaceful warrior. You don't have to be a badass bitch. Can.
Only gets you so far.
You were talking about country music. Humble and Kind. I don't know who sings it. Couldn't. Humble and Kind. That was the song that I danced to at my son's wedding because he chose country. And I practiced. I'm like, I'm not gonna cry. I'm not gonna cry. I got this, right? I mean, I was wiping my nose on his suit jacket, just sobbing. It was such a beautiful, emotional way of being. Vulnerability, man, that takes fucking courage. Huge courage.
Yeah. It's not allowed on the male side. I don't know if you're aware of that.
Well, I mean, when you're walking your daughter down the aisle, graduating.
Oh, it's a yeah. She's seen it for sure.
And it's a beautiful expression. It's a beautiful expression. It's half of the human being. Without expression and without tears. I mean, one of my favorite movies, animal movies, is Fluke. If you haven't seen Fluke, you got to watch Fluke. Oh my God, it's about a man that comes back in a dog. It's one of those movies, and we all have that tear jerker. Armageddon.
Oh, you'd have to be pretty cold to get through that movie without having some kind of emotional feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Emotions.
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing. It's why I made a fava bean and garlic dip. And then I bought a bottle of Chianti. Because I love Silence of the Lambs.
It's beautiful. Have you ever had whipped garlic?
Yes.
Oh, there's a fantastic place in the South Edmonton. So good. Like, I mean, you will get rid of anybody that's not a diehard fan or a friend of yours. They're gone because it just sweats out of your pores.
Yeah.
And that's
what restaurant?
Maybe a good thing, but Al Salam Bakery, I'm giving a plug right now. They're on 23rd, right by Memory Express. They're right in there. You can buy the containers. They're big containers.
Yeah. I get it at El Safadi's on the north end because I'm a north side. Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
Love
some
that.
man bread and just whip that. Just eat it like it's. Oh my God.
I take garlic and roast it. I take roasted garlic and spread it on bread. Like people talk about meat sweats. Try garlic sweats.
Or you throw it, if you're cooking something, throw it in there. It's so much easier to cook with when you have the whipped garlic, or putting it on top of steaks or butter. It gets absorbed so much quicker. So good.
Oh, so good.
If anybody's watching this is hungry now, it's not my fault.
No, not at all. Some of my favorite posts are my food posts. I'm like, look what we made today, right? And I will make vows, be impeccable with your word, right? And I'm like, I'm not going to cook anything because our fridge is full. And then Ralph comes home and he's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I put stuff in freezer bags.
It's on the fridge. It's in the freezer.
But I had a big family. I mean, I had 5 kids that I cooked for, plus their friends and everything else. So, I mean, I made big batches of things. And to change that way of thinking, that conditioning, for me, it's joy. So I don't want to change it, right?
Yeah. Cooking can be really fun. Now I'm hungry.
I live with the Comedy Network. It's great. I enjoy it. I truly enjoy it. But I'm
starving, Ralph. Let's go grab a steak and a beer and we'll go watch the game.
Oh my God, right? Conditioning though, because what is your culture? Like your family came from which culture?
Okay, in its simplest form, Scottish and Irish. Mostly Irish, but probably 60-40.
Wow.
I was adopted at birth. So and shortly after my adoptive father passed away, had the opportunity to meet my adoptive family as well. So they're both involved in my life. They have been for, oh, what, 30 years now. I've had everybody involved, and all the males on the side, unfortunately, are gone. They've been gone for a long time. So I'm surrounded by females. So I moved to Edmonton. It was a safer place for me. And my adopted sister and I are still closer than anything to this day. So, and it took me a while to figure all that out, but eventually, yeah, it was Irish, and I guess probably because I burned so quickly in the sun, and my love of Irish music seems to be pretty good.
Yeah, that'll definitely show. Well, and whether we're talking about the roots that you see with the DNA.com or whatever the testing is, I mean, there's the whole other layers and level of the soul DNA. Like, who are your ancestors? What are the past lives? Like, you bring all that in, and it's just like mind blowing.
I think we have to be careful with that. I think it's too much for some people to go too quickly into that. Because you can't forget about who you are in the moment. And that can be too, I'm trying to think of the word that I want to use, but influensive, to make you go somewhere where, okay, it's just there as a Coles note for all you old people that are on the side of the paper, just as a little thing, just to kind of go, okay, well, just check in with that, see if it applies. You don't have to go back and live your life through that. And you don't have to tell everybody in the world that that's the way it is. This is just for you. Figure it out. Okay, does it make any sense? Okay, it doesn't. That membrane just gets thinner and thinner and thinner. If you believe in that aspect, the more times that happens, you can go down that rabbit hole if you want. But I think that's something that I've noticed a little bit with more things I'm seeing, is putting a lot of stock in that. Okay, it's there, know that it's there, but you're here and now, and deal with the here and now.
Well, and that's the it's metaphysical, metaphysal. Yeah, metaphysal. So like the band Meta, and then fizzle.
Can you spell that for everybody?
No kidding. I know sometimes I do that. I'm like, sorry. But I'm gonna put it in there. There we go. Adding banner. Oh, what do you mean? Unlimited on banners. Okay, Meta, META, Fizzle, FIZZLE, where we can get caught up in I'm not having a good day today because my moon is rising over my sun and everything's conjunct. And
Venus is in Uranus. Yeah.
God, right? And I study astrology. One of my greatest friends is the like a master astrologer, and we were talking about it before we came on. But when you use it as an excuse for moving forward or being the best possible person, yeah.
We're going to tie this whole thing back into that's the version of you. It's one little extra piece of you, whether you're on stage, whether you're in a work aspect, whether you're whatever. It's all those little pieces that make up little pieces. It doesn't define who you are. All those pieces together define who you are, not one of them.
Absolutely. And it's about work and choice and outcome. Because what you do is a lot of work. You choose to do those things. And because you work hard and you choose to work hard, you choose to get up every single day. You're on the road a lot. Your outcome, you're increasing the likelihood for success.
Right, that Nancy's going to ask you to be on our podcast. Yeah.
But I mean, I only invite people on who I enjoy, or people. Yeah, I only invite people, and I mean, I've been slammed. Like I got slammed because I had someone on the show that was controversial, and I'm like, oh, I disappointed my viewers. I didn't know that.
How much did your ratings go up?
But I didn't know that there was an expectation. In order for you to be disappointed by me, you've got to be expecting something of me.
I love it because I was asking
Usually,
you, I was asking for prep notes on today if there's anything I had to prep, and you're like, no,
I
just
think
show
I
up.
suggested, I told you what movie I was watching, which
You
was a
did,
real good movie.
and I didn't watch it because I'm fucking lazy. I was just gonna pop on and deal with it anyway, and I'll deal with the ramifications after.
But it was just a movie that I watched that I enjoyed. My son recommended it to me. I watched it. Ralph slept because he wasn't into it. Do what makes you happy, right? Don't worry, be happy. There's the song. That was a big song. I mean, that made a lot of, right?
Sure,
Don't
yeah.
worry, be happy, right? Like, cool song.
How's that
I
go
think
again,
that
Nancy? Could you sing that for me?
no, I'm not singing it. There, I think there's a there's a Facebook video on Mike Braniff's page. I was it was my birthday party and we were at Sherlock Holmes and I was like trying to sing Prince and I was just like,
Oh
we
fuck, I
all
gotta see
have,
that.
yeah, I got,
Is that a
yeah.
shareable post that I can repost?
No, yep. Let's see if
Oh,
Braniff can pull that one out of his. But it's interesting because we meet people along the way. Ralph and I were in Sherlock. We were in West Edmonton Mall, and we heard this guy singing, and we're like, "Huh, cool." So we stood and watched, and then we were told we couldn't stand and watch because we had to come in, so we left. And then weeks later, Terry Mariama invited us to a show, so we're like, "Sure." We're like, "Holy fuck, it's that guy!" Terry and Mike sang together in a band, you know, Meta? Was it Meta?
yep. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what it is.
right? So we meet the right people at the right time, and you just gotta stay the course. Stay the course, man. Great people. There's a lot of great people out there. So where are you going to what's your next tour look like? Bring out the phone.
Like it's life is really fascinating right now. And I as much as it seems to be pouring in more and more all the time, and I'm having I have to balance it, and but I enjoy balancing it. Powerhouse right now is for anybody that doesn't know, we are actually writing an album. So there's a lot of little work that we're doing, but because we've done this before, we're not just rushing and throwing shit at in a recording studio and just pushing it out. We're really taking our time with this. And there's no deadline. There's no when is this going to release? Don't ask. We will 100% let you know when we're ready to do this. But we're doing the same thing. That spurred on more writing from my side as well. So I now have my albums are done, but I'm starting to do them less and starting to do more than movie stuff. And it's completely anything that's more geared toward Powerhouse is the stuff that I want to give more onto that, whether we use it or not. I don't really care. I want to put it out on the platter and say, pick from it if you want. But the other stuff is not really that way. It's more singer-songwriter, I guess, would be that kind of aspect of telling more of a story, but more along what we're talking about now. Those are the words that I'm trying to use, and it's not about one versus the other. It's about trying to figure a way to work together to move forward because we need other people. That's just who we are as human beings. So I'm not going to go too far into that. So I've written that. I continue to make a living doing the acoustic stuff, and you can't make a living staying in your own city. There's not enough venues, and you have to be willing to go and do it. And I have some amazing people in my court that are helping make things so much easier for me. So the next spot I'm going to be, where am I next? I think I'm in Calgary next weekend. And then I think Powerhouse is back in town.
Careful what you put out there. Careful. Oh, wait, it gets better.
So
Typo.
what goes forward is I want to play more. I want to play more with this is where it's going to be. I want more of everything. I want more of this amazing thing that we're starting to do with Powerhouse. I want more of it. I want to I'd be okay if we walked away from playing covers completely and just be an original band. And there's so much fucking talent in this band that
Yeah.
I've been, like I said, I've been through the writing process. We've all been through this stuff, and I would love to see that develop into something massive. We're just going to do the first step and try and get and write a few songs and get an album done. I want more of what I'm doing now. I like to be able to play a little bit, driving a little bit less, and being able to play a little more high profile shows, so I don't have to quite work so hard to do it. But that's part of the process. I'm restarting again from scratch, and I think some musicians forget that no matter what success you've had, once you start to redo something, you start again from scratch.
Mm-hmm.
So my plan is that I'm going to continue building this off on the side as Powerhouse does their thing. And then that's what I can do to kind of supplement the income, and it's working. I don't see any reason to stop. It's not hugely affecting either one. So writing that, maybe eventually I'd like to record my old album again. I really would. It's been 15 years since I've recorded another one, so this would be my 6th if I could get it done. I really like to do that. I want to leave a legacy for my daughter, want to leave a legacy, and just for myself, and not just to be a coaster, because I just can't be okay with just a coaster. I have to try and do the best job I can of everything that I'm going to put my name on. And then after that, so I'm touring BC and then coming back between here and Saskatchewan, and then making sure I'm home for my daughter, making sure I'm home for Powerhouse, making sure I'm home for myself.
Yeah, that's so important. So if somebody wanted to book you, per se, they would go to DougRobbMusic.com and bada bing, bada bang. Okay.
Yeah, I have a management team that takes care of me. Paul and Kristen from the Next Level Entertainment. They take care of my stuff because I would fuck it all up. You can message them, and they will absolutely take care of everything they possibly can. You know what, Ralph? It's both now. I was just in Jasper, and it was going really, really well. And I had a few people that I'd never met before in my life that actually requested 5 or 6 songs. And when I did it, they were singing them back to me. And that's truly the most amazing thing for original artist, because whether it's 5 people or 5,000 people, you have 5 or 5,000 different versions of what they took out of your song. Saying it's not what I wrote about. I could care less what I wrote about. It's what you get out of it. And when you feel that coming back at you, it's humbling. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it really is. And humbling, being humble is one of the greatest character traits. It's a character trait. It is. It's a core of a character, because we can have that core of being humble and a lot of traits that may not necessarily appear as humble, but at the core we can sense who someone is. So thank you from the deepest center of my soul and softest part of my heart. This was so much fun. Oh my God. Like, this was just great. This made my Sunday spectacular.
Oh, well, thank you so much for the invite. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun. So I'm looking forward to seeing a solo of yours. I've yet to do that. So that's something that I get to look forward to. And lots of opportunities ahead. Lots.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah. So, okay. Well, you have a good night. Peace out. And
bye, Ralph.
See you on stage soon.